So we talk about powerful gaming PCs and that's what's generally very popular in the tech community. But there are other uses for PCs. Like something like this, which you might be saying, this is a DVD player, this isn't a PC. Wrong. This is a little something, if I can get it open, called a media center PC. It's a PC case designed, not necessarily for gaming, but for playing video or anything like that. Kind of like an Android TV or a Telstra TV. And in fact, these can even be a better option than an Android TV or a Telstra TV, because they can actually be cheaper. For instance, I got this one for absolutely free. But this also isn't the greatest PC. This PC is running DDR2, isn't a million Intel CPU, and looks like it has integrated graphics, but there's a few caveats, like it's not a very powerful PC, and I've been told while this was free, and did come with fans, this motherboard does not actually work. But today I've got some parts that I've accumulated from like Marketplace and Gumtree, and I want to build a media center PC for as cheap as possible. Can I do it, and how cheap can I get it? Watch to find out. And so obviously we're building a media center PC. We need this case. Overall, for a free case, this is very nice. Got a few small things, like the power button's a little bit indented, but that's okay. The USBs all work, the front audio works, of course, DVD drive works, even though it does get a little stuck on the return. Though this screen is having a few issues, but, oh hi cat. But overall, considering it was free, it's a nice case, it's from Antec, and should easily get the job done for a media center PC. It's low profile, it's got everything that you could need. But, of course, we don't want that motherboard. So the very first thing I'm going to do is just take that out, get this out of the way, because we know it's not working anyway, and then I'll start talking about the new stuff. Unscrewing. Now I'm taking out the old motherboard, and for some reason some of these screws are kind of like Phillips head, kind of flathead. It's weird. There's some funky stuff in this, like there is this bit down here which goes up and connects to this USB connector, which goes and connects to the front panel, I think, the LCD. And with that, the old motherboard has been removed, and so of course let's talk about the new one. Now this new motherboard I've actually shown on this channel before. This is going to be the new motherboard. It is AM3 Plus, 16 gigs of RAM, has an IO shield, DDR3, and I got this for $50, which is pretty good. This is all going to be an AUD, by the way. And so this is $50 reduce. It has obviously AM3 Plus motherboard, a 4-pin CPU connection, which is very important for this, as this is our power supply. It's an Antec one, and I've been told it still works, which is nice, especially because it's not ATX. Because it's a media center PC, it's quite small, which means we can't really use a new power supply, which limits us to this one, which is only 350 watts. But you know what? We can work with that. And so the CPU under here, I believe it was a 4000 one. I don't remember which one, but it's not going to matter anyway, because I'm actually going to switch it out. Because I have an AMD FX 6100, which is a 6-core processor, which I got for free from a PC my parents gave me to scrap when they upgraded. It was an old PC, it didn't work by the time I got it. This is mostly the PC. I've done a little bit of things to it to try and fix it. It didn't work. But under here, there is an AMD FX CPU that I'm going to be putting in there. So first, I'm going to get it out. Just taking out the old CPU, and that is some interestingly colored thermal paste. But let's lift it out. I'm also going to wipe him off to check what the... Oh, wait, no. It's really thin, so I can see. Not really, I'm gonna have to wipe it off and check what it is. This is the old CPU, it looks like an AMD FX 4170, which is a quad core, but not a bad CPU. But this one's gonna be AMD FX 6100. Let's chuck it in and thermal paste it up. I've got plenty of thermal paste tacked on there. Let's chuck the cooler back on. There we go, nice and secure. Plugging the CPU fan back in. And that is our motherboard all good to go. Got a nice CPU in there, 16 gigs of RAM, so far for just $50 AUD, which is pretty good. And that includes the case. And so, let's chuck the motherboard in. Okay, motherboard's in, everything's plugged in, power, all the front I/O and everything. This little thing is interesting, because what it is just 1/2 of a USB connector. If I go down here, it just plugs into 1/2 of the USB connector. But the only thing I couldn't plug in was the power LED. So it was this funky one that goes across, but that doesn't fit this motherboard. Apart from that, that's fine. And also this one up here, but I don't think we need that. Now, before we stray too much further, I'm going to chuck in these fans that I got when I got this for free. Let's quickly chuck them into those 2 slots there and that one up there. I think I'm going to do 2 intake and 1 outtake. I think that makes sense. Okay, we have got 3 Molex fans in. They are Molex, though all of them do have this really cool feature where it's like a little controller on each fan that has low, medium, and high. I got them all set for high for now, but we'll figure that out. But honestly, at this point, we could be done. This is a $50 media center PC, which is cheaper than a Google TV or anything like that. It plays DVDs, it runs Windows, everything you need from it like that, with the only caveat being it's bigger. Because this, even though the CPU doesn't have integrated graphics, because it's a bit older, older, this motherboard paired with this CPU does have integrated graphics, which you could run 1080p video from. Or you could get a little low profile graphics card like I've got in this Dell Optiplex. This one's like 2 gigs of VRAM, not very fast, but for running video it should be more than fine. But what if you want to run like 4K, or even want to run some like games and stuff on something like this? Well, this is where something like this comes in. Obviously this case only accepts half height and low profile GPUs, not full height, which is what this is. This is a Gigabyte 1050 Ti low profile. It's a great little card, and fun fact of the day, was actually my first ever graphics card. And what I'm going to do is switch on the bracket, turns it into a low profile card, and I'm going to chuck this in here. You can get 1050 Ti's for as low as $80. You've just got to wait for a low profile one. You're good to go. And fun fact, even if you don't get the bracket with the low profile one, you can usually get the bracket online pretty cheaply on. All we got to do is unscrew that and the 2 spokes there, screw it back into that, and so let's quickly switch them out. Pow. Okay, I've now got the low profile bracket in. Let's slap it into this PC. Okay, the GPU is now in, everything is now in. The last thing, of course, we need is a storage device, because I've just realized I didn't put it in earlier. I'm just going to be chucking in this $13 SSD, as I bought them in bulk, so I got them a lot cheaper. And then with that, I think we will have built a media center PC that is still capable of running games for about $150. Let's chuck the SSD in. Okay, with that, the system is now complete. That's a media center PC with 6-core CPU, GTX 1050 Ti, perfectly gaming capable, 4K video capable, for only $150, which is really cheap for what it is. The SSD isn't screwed in because I don't think there's a mounting point. Some of the stuff I don't actually know if it works, like the power supply. I've just been told it does. But overall, this is a pretty good system for the budget. And so let's test it out. Plug it in, give it a test run. Okay, I've got it all hooked up to power and everything. I'm gonna hit the power button down the front here. She spins to life. Do we get an output? We do! Huzzah! She posts, she works. Let's get Windows installed. So 3D Mark is obviously a benchmarking tool, with the main one being Time Spy. I'm just gonna run that now, and let's see how it goes. You know what? That's not too bad a score at all, actually. Playing a light game like Portal 2, it's clearly running very well. I'm very impressed by it. That's easily 100 FPS. No issues with the computer yet either. And even a game like Assassin's Creed here is running very well. By no means is the greatest running game. This one's a little bit more stuttery, but it's honestly running really well. 1050 Ti and an AMD FX don't sound like an amazing CPU and GPU, but it'll run basic games. It might not be running the most AAA on high settings, but it'll do the basic. And even then, that's not the point of this PC. It's a media center. Sure, the fact that it can play games is really nice, but a 1050 Ti and an AMD FX is more than enough for running 4K video even. It's easily enough for a media center. And look, honestly, a PC like this would be perfect for party games and running that sort of game, watching movies, streaming video. It's low profile, it's nice. Hi Zelda, cat wanted to make an appearance. It's low profile, it's a nice computer, it's a nice looking case too. By no means looks bad, and sure, it's not the newest hardware, but overall, it was $150 roughly, and you could have gotten away with just 50 if you didn't want the GPU and you just wanted to stream basic video. You didn't even need the rest. You could have gotten away with 50. That's really cool and really impressive in my opinion. But that was how I built a very budget media center computer. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. I'm a small channel and it would help out a ton. Comment down below what other cool PCs you want me to build. I hope to see you in the next one, and bye bye. Oh, good girl. Good cat.